Few Republicans have been willing to speak publicly today, whether to defend the president or to criticize him. Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger is a rare exception. And Congressman Kinzinger, credit where credit is due, thank you for accepting our invitation today.
You bet. Thank you.
So, right to it. If Director Comey's account is true, did the president, in your view, obstruct justice?
Okay, so I think when it comes to if the account's true, what we've heard is very concerning, very frightening. We haven't seen a memo. We just hear basically part of a memo that was read, and it was Comey's interpretation. So I think to go to the next step of saying, then what, it's pretty early. But I do think, look, the American people deserve the answers. And what's happened with all this information, it's become, and this is why I think it's time to have an independent investigation, because it's become to the point where anytime something new comes out, the left automatically screams impeachment. The right says this is, a media scandal. This isn't true. The truth is maybe somewhere in the middle, who knows? But we need actual answers instead of this knee-jerk partisanship for everything. This isn't about 2018. It's not about 2020. It's about the belief in the foundation of the democratic institutions of the United States.
I mean, it sounds, you're putting it in quite remarkable context there, saying that if this account is true, it at least raises the question as to whether the system of the United States is being challenged here.
Well, if this account is true, and again, this is an if, I believe it's been confirmed by multiple sources that there was at least a memo that exists. So then, how accurate is the memo? All kinds of questions. We go in them forever. The point is we need to know. We need Comey in front of Congress. We need to see this memo, and then we can have the debate about what next steps are or anything along that line. It's early, to hear people on the floor of the House or the Senate already utter the word impeachment. That is entirely too quick, and that is a huge thing to say without all the information. We need the information, and that's what we have to do. And so I think it's time. Look, there's some great investigations going on in the House, Senate, and the FBI. They should continue, but I think it's time to begin to talk about an independent group that can come along, whether it's a commission or a special prosecutor, and investigate this too, outside of politics.
Let me ask you this, because it looks that we're heading in the direction of a he said situation. Comey's word against the president's word, and they were the only two people present in the meeting because the president asked, according to Comey, for others to leave, including the vice president. I'm going to ask you directly here. If it is he said, whose word do you trust more?
Well, that's a tough question. I implicitly trust Director Comey. I believe him to be an honest person. I know people that work in the FBI that know him, but I'm not accusing the president of dishonesty in that. If it's he said, it's, we don't really know. We haven't heard much from the White House. The point is, I think we need all the information I think that's going to have to be through something independent because this has become too politically toxic. But I would caution both sides of this, whether it's my side or the other side. Let's not jump to our corners anytime something new comes out. Let's try to find out what really happened. Stop yelling about impeachment right now. And we also can't say that every new piece of information that comes out is totally false and not true. We have to look at this with very sober eyes and get to the bottom of it.
It's fair advice, no question. I want to ask you about what was the other crisis until some 24 hours ago, and this is reports confirmed by CNN that the president shared classified information with the Russians in that meeting last week. Do you believe the White House has done enough to explain why it did so, and has it addressed concerns about whether it compromised a key intelligence sharing relationship by doing so?
No, I haven't heard enough to address that. Look, the president is correct when he says he has the right to declassify. That's true. Theoretically, a president could have declassified everything stolen by Edward Snowden, too, but no president would do that. It is one thing if you were meeting with your national security team, you guys went through strategy, said it is beneficial if we reveal this information, whoever supplied it to us gives the okay. That's completely acceptable. That's part of policy and diplomacy. To just willy-nilly throw something out there and potentially burn an ally without having discussed it with your team, while technically legal, I think is highly problematic.
Congressman Adam Kinzinger, a rare Republican to speak publicly following these developments. Thanks very much for taking the time.
You bet, Jim. Take care.